there they are, sitting on the steps. They must not have another class until after lunch. I don't really know how to start this conversation, but I do want to talk to them. I don't want them to feel alone in this. I know it can seem like you're the only one who's struggling sometimes. Having to hide your struggles gets really exhausting, and it can help to have support. Well, here goes nothing. Hey, mind if I sit over here? I don't know if you remember me. We're in the same psych class. It's a huge class. I'm usually across the room from you. I noticed you like to sit by the door. They're just staring at the grass. They're tapping their foot so fast. I hope I'm not making them uncomfortable. Anyways, I wanted to ask you something, if that's okay. I mean, it's not really a question. I just wanted to talk to you. Everyone else on campus is in class, so I doubt anyone will be eavesdropping on us. Well, except maybe that person walking by with their cello. No, nothing's wrong. I wanted to tell you something. I actually feel a little bad about this because I accidentally overheard something I wasn't supposed to hear. So I hope that doesn't make you feel bad. I was just walking by and I heard you talking to the professor about your phobia. They were giving you information on the school's academic accommodations, to remove barriers to full participation and learning. That's all I heard, though. It was just in passing, and it's totally none of my business. And we don't have to talk about it if you don't want to. But stuff like that can be really hard to deal with, especially if you feel like you have to hide it all the time. I just wanted to tell you that you're not alone. People of all kinds have phobias. And actually, someone in my family has gynophobia too. I've seen how disruptive it can be. Like, it affects so much of their life. Because people are everywhere. We can't really avoid them. They're at parties and work and the dentist and delivery drivers and the grocery store. It must be really difficult to live with a phobia that you can't really avoid. And I'm sorry that you're dealing with that. It sounds stressful. What is that like to deal with that every day? It makes you feel kind of sick? Like how? Oh, you get shaky and sweaty and can't breathe? Kind of like a panic attack or... Oh, it can cause panic attacks. I'm so sorry. I don't know exactly how you feel, but I used to get panic attacks and they were awful, so I can't imagine them being triggered so often. You just feel like you have to get away? Like you're in danger, something terrible will happen if you don't get away? So then it's probably really difficult to talk with people, is it? Oh, not even interacting with them, but sometimes even just hearing their voice? So if you're listening to a podcast and a guest you weren't prepared for comes on, it can trigger your fight or flight? Oh, it might even make you cry? And you can feel your heart pounding in your head? Does it come up very often? If you have a doctor appointment and you've never met the doctor before, that can cause you to panic? You've had to cancel appointments before because you were so anxious about it? Oh. Yeah, I guess you wouldn't always want to tell people why. That can be really personal. But then they just don't understand. Wow. That sounds like it could really hold you back in life. make it difficult to do the things you need to do or the things you want to do. Why do you feel guilty about it? Well, yeah, it's irrational. That's literally the definition of a phobia. If it's justified, then it's just fear, and fear is what keeps us safe from real danger. Irrational fears don't make sense, so you can't logic your way out of it or just get over it. Your brain is triggering a fear response, and your fight or flight, thinking you're in danger even if you're not. But it still feels like you're in danger. You shouldn't feel guilty for having gynophobia. Lots of people do have phobias, but lots of people get help too. I wouldn't want you to feel trapped or like it will always control your life. I'm not saying you can just snap your fingers and be fine, but there are people who can help you make progress. It must be really scary feeling out of control. Like at any moment, your whole day can change because of a trigger you heard or something that popped up on TV. Having a phobia doesn't make you a bad person. No, it doesn't. You can't control what makes you feel anxious. If any of us could do that, we would just make it stop. I know you don't want to feel like you're in terrible danger. I get if you feel bad about how it negatively affects your life, but feeling guilt for it, you don't need that. And I know you would never use your mental health struggles as an excuse to blame or hurt someone else. People misunderstand you a lot? How? They think you're just being dramatic or trying to get attention? Sometimes they even try to get you to have a panic attack? That's horrible. No one should treat you that way. You try to keep your phobia a secret, but sometimes people find out and harass you about it? That is so wrong. Purposefully trying to upset and traumatize someone is awful. Yeah, I could see it'd be really hard when people make assumptions and judgments about you. It's not fair because they don't know you and what you're going through. But it's easier for people to make a quick judgment than take the time to try and understand, so unfortunately that happens a lot. And it's so annoying when you do make changes from real work, and then people think you just decided to stop pretending or something. I'm sorry people make assumptions about you. What's that? What kinds of things can change? Oh, you mean how can it get better? Oh, well, have you heard of exposure therapy? I know, it sounds kind of dramatic. If you've had a bad experience with a situation or a person, our brain can file that away as danger, which often is a good thing because if we touch a stove and it's hot, we know next time not to touch it. When a stove is on, that could mean danger. But if you touched a stove once and it burned you, so anytime you saw a stove in a department store or even on the TV and it triggered a panic attack, that would be your brain not reacting to the danger appropriately. Seeing a stove on the TV and being terrified it could burn you is irrational, and that's what phobias are all about. Even if it started as a way for your brain to try and protect you. All that to say, exposure therapy is when you are around the thing that caused you fear, but nothing bad happens. Your brain tells you that something bad is going to happen, but then it doesn't. And if you have that positive experience enough times, it can start to take the fear away. Our feelings can start to shift because we've been anticipating danger and it never comes. So we feel more and more safe. It's like if you walk by a stove and it didn't burn you, you might start to feel safe walking by stoves, if we're still following the stove analogy. Oh, no, it's a specific thing. You don't just go out and force yourself to face your phobia, and it's never a surprise. It's a really specific and guided process that someone who knows what they're doing can walk you through. It's not the only way to treat phobias, but it's pretty effective for most people. That's how my family member worked on their phobia. But anyways, I've wasted enough of your time. I'm sorry to bother you. I mostly just wanted to say that fear and anxiety suck and you're not alone, and I'm sorry you feel like you have to hide it to try to get through your days when it's so difficult. I wish nobody had to pretend to be okay when they're not. I don't know what you've been through or what kinds of experiences you've had that told your brain there was danger. But I really hope that you start to have good experiences that help you feel safe again. You deserve to have genuine and healthy relationships and not be held back by your phobia. Okay, I'm gonna go. You totally never have to talk to me about phobias again. I don't ever want to stress you out or anything by bringing it up. Because I know you said even just talking about it can give you symptoms. But if you ever do want to talk to someone about it, because I know it's a hard topic to bring up, you can talk to me. I won't make assumptions about you. I'll just listen.